And welcome back to GFF and Friends, the podcast for the revolution. Viva!
Hello, yes.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Gay Fat Friend, a.k.a. Todd. And joining me, as always, is my teeny tiny, adorable Che Guevara husband, Rob.
Hi.
Hi.
I didn't know I was going to be such a revolutionary today, but...
Well, do you hear the people sing?
I do.
That's great.
I do.
We're doing it. It's happening.
Yes.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the show. I hope you guys all had a great week. I know we did. I found the back of the GoPro. So this is a little housekeeping if you didn't watch last week.
I forgot about the mystery of last week.
Listen, last week, I was going through it with my new GoPro time-lapse camera. It was awful. It was tearing my life apart. I decided it was going back to Costco. But when I went to take it off the tripod and stuff, I noticed that when it had fallen over previously while I was using it, the little door that covers the battery had popped off and flown away, just dropped into the matrix, disappeared, went into another universe.
Completely disappeared.
Tore our room apart looking for it, crawled on my hands and knees everywhere, found things I didn't even know were lost, so that's good.
Yeah.
But then finally, it had been driving me crazy, and there was one place I didn't look because honestly I thought you said you had looked there.
No, I guess not.
But right directly behind me, behind this TV on the floor, is a little stuffed turkey. It's a Thanksgiving decoration from Target back in the day, but it's very beautiful. So I keep it, sorry I'm so phlegmy, but I keep it on display year round. Well, anyway, I was like, I wonder if somehow it had flown behind the turkey, and surprise, surprise, it did.
Which is crazy. There's no straight line to get back there. That's what...
No.
I think that's what actually threw me off, because I think I got down on the ground and even looked underneath the furniture that is near there, but it must have been tucked behind that specific item.
Yeah. So the turkey is in this corner right behind me, and it was underneath the turkey's butt. It had flown, so it fell over there on the other side of the room. It must have popped off, flung through the air, flung through the air, ricocheted off of something, hit the corner perfectly, and just fallen behind the turkey. It's one of those instances where I wish we had multiple Ring cameras about our house so we could watch the footage back, because I still don't know how it could have ended up back there.
I mean, and seriously, given the amount of spike marks in the bedroom for people who do not record themselves in the bedroom for fun nor profit, you'd think we'd have cameras running all the time.
Our bedroom, is in the basement, and it's unusually large, and so it's our bedroom and our studio, but these lights and this equipment is not for the bed part of the bedroom.
No,
so get your mind out of the gutter.
Yeah.
It's for podcasting, like normal Americans.
Like every white presenting man in the world.
Yeah. But yeah, the mystery of the GoPro battery cover finally solved. I looked behind the turkey, and it was just laying there kind of perfectly in the corner on the carpeting. And I screamed, "Oh my God," which I don't think Rob heard.
I think I might have been asleep.
But
I've been napping.
I did find it. And I'm glad I did find it, because apparently you can lose that door very easily or switch it out. So I just ordered a new one on Amazon, but it was off brand, and it cost $12. And it arrived before I took it back to Costco, because I was like, I can't take it back to Costco without the door.
Yeah.
So it arrived before I found it in the corner. But luckily, like I said, found it and put it back on the camera and just returned the other one to Amazon. But when I got to Costco, the gal that was running returns, she inspected that camera. And this is, an older woman, but she inspected that camera like she worked for GoPro. She's like, is the SD card here? Is the extra battery here? Is this here? Is this here? And I was like, yep, it's all there. And she looked it about.
I wonder if they get an actual good checklist of stuff for returns of their products that they have, because seriously, I feel like I've worked enough retail, and everyone that I've worked with knows so little about everything that they sell that I can't imagine anybody actually knowing if anything is complete or not.
Right? Well, and I feel like it might fall into the same category as the people that check receipts at the door.
Yeah.
They're not looking for everything.
Yeah.
They're not getting it all. It's just a control tactic, which I don't mind. I don't care. Yeah. If it keeps the prices low and it keeps theft out the store, by all means do it. That was a whole thing. I saw that on TikTok. Apparently. Wow, can I find a new word? Apparently, there is this movement of people that refuse to show the receipts, and I guess you can refuse. Get fucked. I
like,
don't care.
Sovereign citizens need to be only in the videos that make fun of them on TikTok. That's it. That's the only place they need to exist.
But I saw this
they don't need to gum up the works.
This weird 6-child mommy blogger who was like, I never show my receipt. I just walk right out and say no thank you. And I'm like, why? What is that doing for the universe and the world? Who do you think you are besides nobody? What is that for?
I realize the irony of me saying this on a podcast, but like, the internet giving everyone a voice was such a mistake.
Right. Take these microphones away. No, right. It's, you know what? If we lose the podcast, if they lose their podcast and we lose our podcast, by all means.
I do agree.
As long as they are gone.
That there really should be like 1,000% tax on podcast mics.
Yeah.
There just should be. Like,
seriously.
You know. Anyway, sorry.
But yeah, I don't know what purpose it serves, but apparently you can deny that receipt check. But who cares?
Okay.
Literally, who cares?
Yeah, I too like being a jerk for no reason and complicating matters just because I want to be an asshole.
Yeah, it's like people who
that was being sarcastic. I don't do that shit.
It's like people who are defiant at TSA. It's security to get on a plane. If it makes you uncomfortable to take your shoes off, stop flying. I don't give a fuck.
Like there's some at this point there are some just prices of admission.
It's so
and you
weird.
Either accept it or you don't.
Well, it's like I said that one time. Like it's like people don't think things through. That there are bad people in the world that take advantage of loopholes in systems. And so like if they stopped checking everything the way they do, and just trusted because you're an old white lady from Arizona that you're not going to do something to the plane, that's a loophole that someone could take advantage of.
Well,
you know?
I still don't understand why if you're over a certain age you don't have to take your shoes off. Like what? Like
exactly.
So many elderly people are so easily pliable. It would be so easy to apparently give them bomb shoes if you wanted to.
Right. Like, put the device on grandma.
Yeah. I don't like whatever.
It's so weird.
We're gonna get flagged for like ways to subvert shit, but like I don't stand by it. But yeah, I do agree that some of the rules are just arbitrary and dumb.
Stop doing the stereotype and honor system, way of getting through life. Just put up with it because it's for safety.
Yeah,
it's better this way.
Also, I feel like we're wandering into big opinions on things that this podcast doesn't need to have big opinions about.
Well, if you want to stay relevant, you got it. We got to get those clips. We got to get the TikTok clips of us being like, "Here's what I think about vaccines."
No, I think I'd rather go the Katya route of like telling you about my dreams or like I'm soaking wet. Why? I don't know.
Speaking
of, it's time to just get weird.
Speaking of dreams, last night we watched the film Queer by Luca Guadagnino?
I don't actually know Luca's last name.
He also directed Challengers
and
Call Me By Your Name and Suspiria. But he's a treasure. He's slowly becoming one of my favorite filmmakers.
He likes making straight men kiss on camera.
But the movie is very surreal, like full on, like kind of Salvador Dali surreal.
Yeah, I was surprised. Like it was not sold that way at all. And also even just no one talked about it.
Yeah.
In that context at all.
But it's really beautiful. It's really sticking with me as art. Like I was telling Rob last night after we watched it, the credits were rolling and I was like, that's not so much a movie. I loved the story. I just liked watching it. And it just felt like I was consuming art. Like I was at the Louvre and something was on the wall. Much like the wall behind us. Speaking of the Louvre, that's the Mona Lisa. But it stuck with me and it's been sitting with me since we watched it. And I really liked it. And it's so surreal and odd and cool. And probably an acquired taste. So don't take my recommendation to watch it because it is kind of long and weird.
Yeah. Like it's weird because I'd say, there's a couple of really great moments in it and there's some visual stuff in there that is like, it's frustrating that it hasn't been done before because it's frankly such an obvious solution to a way to communicate something, and it actually works so well that I'm just shocked that it hasn't been done before. And so there's a couple of moments that have really stuck with me, and I'm glad the movie exists, but like just the same way as I'm glad the book exists. I read it a while ago, and frankly it didn't really do it for me, but also like Burroughs is an acquired taste. He writes in a kind of strange fashion, and I don't know. His stuff's also hard because it's where does like the biography versus the fiction mesh. And so I don't know. I have a hard time with him, but I also appreciate him. And yeah, like I'm glad I saw the movie. It is, frankly, it's a vibes piece. It's very long for what it is.
It's a vibe.
And yeah, like I'm glad it exists. I don't think I'll ever watch it again. But yeah, so like it's weird. There were like a lot of ups and downs on watching it for me, but like. You know, like it's on Letterboxd. Like I love a funny review at times. Like, you know, whether or not I love the movie or not. And there was one that stuck with me that said like we could have cut an hour off the runtime if we just removed the shots of Daniel Craig taking on or putting off his hat.
You want to say that again?
Taking off or putting on his hat. But yeah, because like there's a lot of hat removal and placement in this movie.
Hatiography.
Yeah, and you know, but yeah, there's a lot of also I like. By the time we got to our second slow-mo, almost entire kind of music video moment, I was like, oh, that's why the movie is 2 hours and 17 minutes. Because like every time they have a song in here, like they slow down the action and just kind of let it be a music video for about 2.5 minutes.
There's a lot of cinematography happening.
And yeah, it's funny because we like mid-movie, I think I even said, I was like, the production design is both like, I love it and also I hate it. There's parts of it that I really liked and there's elements of the production design that I absolutely just despised.
There were some scenes that were full on Wes Anderson. I was like, this is a Wes Anderson style of scene.
And so yeah, it's kind of all over the place. And you know, and it's funny for it being like the Trent Reznor, Atticus Ross score. There's one track that is very much your standard, could have been in Challengers kind of track. And then the rest is at least, you know, kind of a different vibe. But it's funny, like they use a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? It's
color?
No, it's the word. I'm trying to think of the word. It's like not anarchic, but it's basically they chose a lot of music that is not representative of the time period.
Yeah, it's almost like Marie Antoinette, where like the soundtrack does not fit the time period, but it works for it.
No,
it's really cool.
And it contributes to the general vibeness.
I liked it.
Of it taking place in the 50s and using a lot of music from like
the 90s.
I
actually might put the movie on as like background something again sometime.
Yeah.
Especially if I'm just like, I don't know, reading or doing Legos or something. It's just pretty to look at.
What's weird though, like it's fine. It's pretty to look at, but also all the people are so sweaty all the time.
That's true.
Like it is a movie with a smell. Like
it does look. I mean, we talked about that several times during the movie. I was like, these people must smell so bad.
It is a movie that has a smell that is communicated
because it's set in like the 50s, and it's set, you know, in
Mexico.
Barely even ceiling fans, let alone air conditioning.
Well, and also you're watching people dealing with various forms of substance use, which, you know, can often cause chills and sweats and shakes. Like, it just, everybody looks a little kind of gross at many points.
A lot of heroin.
Just, I mean, it's a William S. Burroughs thing, so yeah.
But no, what I was going to say is one of my favorite things is I have a movie drinking game, which I don't think I've ever played with actual alcohol.
And it's so funny because like
a verbal drinking game.
You know, every time we're saying watching a movie and this happens, I'm always like lightly rolling my eyes because I've never really, you know, heard anyone talk about this until you.
But I just say the word drink when it happens, and that's when they say the title of the film verbatim in dialogue. I think it's so funny, and so I always just say drink. Well, the movie's called Queer, and they say that if you play the movie title drinking game while you're watching Queer, you will get alcohol poisoning.
Yeah, it is a frequent, but like, yeah, they only have so many words they can use, I guess.
It's much like if you tried to do it during Titanic, you'll get alcohol poisoning. You will go to the ER.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's one of my favorite things, especially when the title is so weird and then they just say it verbatim. I can't think of an example at the moment.
This certainly is the killing of a sacred deer.
Yeah. It's so funny just when they say the title exactly. You're like, drink. And so, yeah, incorporate that into your movie viewing experience. It's fun.
Well, maybe that's actually why I enjoy movies where they don't say the name so much.
Yeah. It's also along the lines of a game called Cows I Win, which when you're on a road trip or, you know, just driving around anywhere, if you see cows and you're the first person to say cows I win, you win. So you can either do that movie drinking game. Why do you not have a sense of humor? You're so weird all the time.
No, I have a sense of humor, but like, I don't know, like all these, like whenever I find out about like, I guess just, I don't know, like there's.
We've played it together. You probably just don't remember.
No, that's not a game. That's the thing. It's almost like when people have on their profile of like, if you block me, I win. It's like.
It's along the lines of Slugbug.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, did you call it Slugbug growing up?
We had Punch Buggy.
Punch Buggy.
Yeah, that was what it was growing up for me.
Yeah.
But like, I guess, you know, but it's funny. My family was more inclined to do like the alphabet game in the car.
Oh, just done.
Where you define signs.
Now, are your rules, the word has to start with that letter?
Yeah.
Or is it just seeing that letter?
No, it's got to start. Otherwise, what would be the point?
I mean,
it'd be over so quickly.
Everyone has different rules for everything.
Well, I mean, but also I guess like I grew up in cities with signs everywhere, so it was a little bit different.
We also played I Spy a lot, but like playing I Spy in a moving car,
that's real hard. That's more of like, hey, I saw a thing, and as the guesses go on, I saw it 10 blocks ago.
Yeah, you missed it.
This is a memory game now.
But yeah, don't play the movie title drinking game watching Queer, because you will probably
do
pass
not
away.
recommend. It is like seriously, you'll die quickly.
Yeah. By the way, I meant to say earlier, speaking of the Louvre, this painting is not there, but I did finish the sunflower Lego painting behind us. Look how beautiful that is. I know everyone has been clamoring and sitting on the edge of their seat. When are they going to fill that art wall hole? Well, we finally filled that hole. Whoa. But yeah, it's beautiful, and I'm obsessed, and I can't stop looking at it in the monitor. It's so pretty, and it really just makes the wall pop, pop.
It is a bummer. The light is like,
Lego is very
hot
shiny.
Spot on it.
I was taking video and pictures of it for the TikTok about it that I made. And yeah, you have to place the lighting very particularly because Lego is so shiny and reflective. Like,
oh no, we're gonna start buying one of those like light globes like they use.
That's the dream
to shoot Sleepy Hollow in the bedroom. So
yeah,
you have
the light blimp.
Natural lighting.
Oh my god, that's the dream. I've always wanted one of those. But when I was setting up the lighting to take pictures of the wall, the light was reflecting just perfectly off of Mona Lisa's face, and it was just like she looked like a ghost. It was just her face, and it was very shiny.
Oh, she had like drag queen highlights?
Yeah, it was like the Drag Race season 1 filter on her face. Ow. Just hit my elbow. But yeah, art wall complete. Although, now that I'm looking at
is anything in our home ever complete?
There's a small space right here.
There's always something you can kind of further maximize.
Well, that's genetic. My brother and I always make fun of my mom. Like, there's never going to be an empty shelf, an empty dresser, an empty windowsill in my mom's house because she'll find a knickknack for it.
Seriously, we are such a bad fit for each other because we both.
Yeah, I think it's a form of hoarding because a beautiful empty space, I'm going to fill it with something. Art, a knickknack, Legos.
Yeah, at least, I don't know. Seriously, like, there's a difference between hoarding and cluttering. Because, like,
this is curated. This is beautiful.
Like, hoarding is when you just start stepping over bags of trash to get through things. Like, when you start losing the floor, that's a problem. Like, it's like if you have a carcass, any animal carcass within the pile, that's a problem.
Yeah,
like,
that's pretty bad.
There are certain things that, like, need to...
If something has the ability to mummify in your home... You're probably a hoarder.
Yeah, like seriously, this is the new like you might be a redneck if jokes, but just about hoarding. And like I do think there are specific things. Otherwise, you just have a small quirk about you.
Yeah.
But yeah, like when you start losing function of like or access to rooms, and you just kind of deal.
I don't want to exacerbate, but we're collectors. We're not hoarders.
Most of my shit's alphabetized.
It's
like,
true. It's not on the ground and it's alphabetized.
Yeah, like I mean, seriously, it's luckily I don't collect things like stuffed animals, which would be hard to categorize or put on a shelf.
Yeah,
in alphabetical order.
Whatever's not on display is neatly packaged in a moving box under the stairs,
and probably should go.
Yeah, probably should go. But like, how do you liquidate? I don't want to just give it away. It could be worth something. See, it's genetic. This is a disease.
Well, and also, but like, it is funny because like right now we're seeing, I want to say like cyclic interest in things, but like we're seeing people interested in dunnies again. And like,
which is the thing you collected 20 years ago.
Yeah. Like not to be that guy, like literally I was buying dunnies 20 years ago. Like, it's
funny, vinyl figures are like popping back off again.
Yeah. And like, cause yeah, I mean like one of the things that I was looking at, I was like, oh God, the box on this is so old. I'm like, it's a 20-year-old box. Yeah. Like it has literally been moved so many times. It's
falling apart. Like one of the boxes. So we were like organizing yesterday and we found a bunch of dunnies.
The Frank Kozik one is very much
the like art of the box is peeling off of the cardboard.
Yeah.
Like it was like a sticker. It's so weird.
Yeah. Like some of those I think were just not built super well. I mean the dunnies are in great shape because they're vinyl. But yeah, it's funny because if you like anyone who wants to be like, really, dunnies are that old? Look at the movie Splice. I think we just talked about Splice recently, or at least I talked about it with someone recently. I don't think it was on the podcast now because I was talking about how I like.
Is that Adrian Brody?
Yes, it is.
I've never seen that one.
Oh, it's fun. It's from Vincenzo Natali, the director of Cube.
But that's like the crazy alien baby running around.
Dren, yes. Yeah. And in that, they actually have Adrian Brody and Sarah Polley. Their characters have one of the. Let's see if I can remember the height correctly. 20-inch collector dunnies in their bedroom as a
statuey kind
piece. Yeah, like the big guys. And I think those were like $399. They weren't that expensive.
Now does the same company do the mouse ones, the ones that are like super popular right now of the big variety? They look like Mickey, but they're not Mickey.
It's I don't think that's Kid Robot specifically, but I think Kid Robot does sell them.
Yeah,
possibly. But yeah, because like at least of all the sort of even like the Labubu's and all that kind of stuff, I don't even think Kid Robot sells Labubu. Even though that's like the big vinyl collectible right now.
I know everyone gets them at Pop Mart. I don't know if Pop Mart is like a brand that owns things, but Pop Mart is like where you get Labubus.
Yeah.
So
I think Pop Mart, like I believe, at least just from an outsider who used to collect vinyl toys, I'm pretty sure Pop Mart, I think, is like a retailer.
Is like a boutique.
Well, Kid Robot is a designer.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, like it's like going to Louis Vuitton versus going to Macy's.
Urban Outfitters.
Yeah, that carries Louis Vuitton.
Okay. Because, I wasn't sure if Pop Mart was like a brand like Lego where like you go to the Pop Mart store to get Pop Mart Labubus.
They might have exclusives. They might. I'm not sure.
They probably do.
Well, I imagine they would have exclusive at this point for sure, just because they are such a big kind of presence.
Speaking of vinyl figures and realizations in Lego, I realized, and like this is probably a duh to everyone else, but I literally just realized this week. So Lego has this thing called Brickheads, which I am not interested in at all. Like some people are like, where's your Harry Potter Lego? I'm never buying Harry Potter Lego. Like my Lego aesthetic is very specific. But they have these things called Brickheads, which are usually like characters from Disney and stuff.
Oh,
and
the big bug-eyed things?
Yeah.
They're kind of like Funkos.
Thank you for
sorry.
finishing my thought.
Sorry. No, sorry.
So I had a realization this week that Brickheads are Lego's response to Funko Pops. And that's why... Yeah, that's why, like, I was like, why has Lego never done, like, a brand collab with Funko? And then I was like, oh, that's what Brickheads are.
Yeah.
And if you're into Lego, maybe everyone already knew that. But I was just like, oh.
I don't think I ever gave him much thought, but it's funny. I was just imagining, like, the Belle from Beauty and the Beast with, like, the big, crazy, like,
I don't
eyes.
like them because they look so wrong. Like, they are... Remember that artist that did, like, the cubist interpretations of, like, Mickey Mouse, where it was just, like, a yellow square, a red square, a black square? They just look like that. They're too cubey. Like they don't look.
Well, they're an abstraction at this point.
They're too abstract, and they're also like little, and it's just not my vibe. Yeah. But if you like Brickheads, by all means, get them. But every time I see them, I was like, I have yet to see one. I do think they did a Homer one though, and they're supposed to come out with a new Simpsons set this year. That's the rumor that they're doing. Krusty Burger.
Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to doing another Simpsons set.
Yeah.
Because it's been forever since I did the house in the Quickie Mart.
So. Yeah. That's our probably oldest mega sets, right?
I mean, the Simpsons house is what started us on Lego in general, because I don't think we did Lego as adults.
Yeah. And I don't think we had any other... We definitely didn't have like modulars and sets before.
No, I literally think Simpsons house was probably the first complete set I ever bought.
Yeah.
And
I remember you doing it in the living room back in LA.
And watching The Simpsons while doing it. That was like the whole thing.
Yeah. But yeah, so, I mean, maybe when they come out with the Krusty Burger, if they do Brickheads of other characters, they'll look cute and we'll want to get them. But I just don't like them. But yeah, I had that realization. I was like, oh, these are Funko Pops by Lego.
Yeah, no, it's honestly it's one of those things of like maybe we don't need to open the gate on that collection. I feel
we definitely don't.
You know, but it's funny because I feel bad even whenever you talk about stuff and people are always like, oh, did you get this one? It's like because we have a little bit of a line like we don't buy the Harry Potter ones, we don't buy the Marvel ones, and like Harry Potter, like that's a choice I'm making financially to never support again. But like,
same
Star Wars,
I just don't care.
Cool for you. Like, love it for you. I'm not excited about it. Same with like Marvel. I enjoy the movies. I don't need to do any of the Lego stuff.
Yeah.
It's funny because like the Twilight house, I could not give two shits about Twilight. That house is gorgeous.
As a modular, it looks pretty cool.
They should just lose the minifigures and just make it part of Lego Architecture series.
There is a mid-century modern house that Lego does for the Lego City Build or something. I think it's discontinued, but they did do one that's pretty square like that.
So that Twilight house is really, really...
It's really neat.
It's beautiful.
But also, it's a little plain for me. I'm like... The movie aside, I don't care about the movie. Just looking at it, I'm like, I like the idea of it, but it's just kind of a brown box, and it's just a little plain for me.
Yeah. It's just nice to see like one different house compared to all the different styles. You know, it's a atypical house design compared to what you usually see.
Because people are also like, oh, you don't have any Disney, blah blah blah. And honestly, we do Simpsons and Nintendo, which you just finished a Nintendo set this week.
I did.
Adorable.
Yeah, the Mario
Technic.
Yeah, the Mario and Yoshi one that is super animated. It was really cool.
It's fun
to build.
And it was a fast build, too. You did it in 2 nights.
2 nights, yeah.
But yeah, besides, we do Nintendo and Simpsons. Other than that, we just do architecture and art.
Yeah, and even then, we don't even do all of the Nintendo stuff. Like, there's so... Like, the board game style thing they built was, like...
We have the starter pack.
Yeah, we have the starter pack of that, but, like, we didn't get any of the expansions because, like, frankly, we're not using them, and it's just too much space. But, like, you know, there's a couple of kind of showpiece Nintendo limited assets that they made that were very, very, very cool.
Yeah. Well, it's that thing where, like, I'm not buying it all just to buy it all, and that makes me feel good that I actually do have, like, an aesthetic when it comes to Lego specifically, that I'm like, oh, I don't just need it to need it. Like, the stuff I'm getting, I want, and I'm doing with purpose.
Well, it's like when I go to a record store and I walk out with nothing. It is both
You're like, I don't have a problem.
Yeah, it is both like, I'm proud of myself because, like, look at me. I don't have to buy something to feel good right now and do this. But also at the same time, then I also have that same panic of, like, I wasn't able to find anything. What's wrong with me? Do I not like music anymore? Like, you know, or like...
it is a bummer.
Yeah, or is this store just like... Have I outgrown this store? Do they not have enough of a selection for me? Like, I do have a lot of little voices going on in my head, but also at the same time, I'm usually like, haha, you left.
Yeah.
You know, but, you know, because I used to be that guy that would go to Amoeba, like, literally to go pick up a $2.99 clearance CD, and then I'd walk out and, like, as I'm checking out on the wall back there, I'm like, I'll take that $80 record.
It was kind of your target. Like, you'd be like, I'm just going in for shampoo, and then I would leave with $200 worth of stuff.
Yeah, well, the problem is that damn wall. Like, they know what they're doing, putting the expensive stuff behind the register.
On display.
Yeah, on display, which, I mean, I don't think they do that now. Now, behind them, it's all, like, shipping boxes and stuff and T-shirts.
Yeah.
But that's the new location, which I don't have to talk about at length anymore because I think I've already done it.
Yep.
Let's just say I'm not a fan. But yeah, like, because I used to be the guy that, like, at the cash wrap, my total would literally go from $20 to $300.
Well, they took the hunt out of it for you, and you could just grab it.
Yeah.
But if they put it in the bins, it wouldn't be as fun.
Seriously, right? Well, and, you know, like, I don't have time to go through all the bins.
Yeah.
And, like,
it's like perfume samples. I was thinking about it last night. I was like, if you really put in the effort, because, you know, I'm really into fragrance and perfume. If you put in the effort, you could go to every department store and get, like, a nice little sample and then combine them into probably a full-size jar of the scent if you wanted to do that work.
Yeah.
But it's like, no, I'll just pay and have someone else do it.
Well, and it's funny because, like, I don't mean to be, Mr. Lazy, because, like, I do a lot of bin diving in record stores, like, just of the new and used stuff that I'm looking for of, like, normal priced stuff. But, like, there's a handful of records I do want that would probably be in the dollar bin at this point. However, dollar bins are unorganized, and
they're just a pile of records. There's no genre, there's nothing.
They're so vast, and, like, the quality of what's in there is so mixed that, like, literally I could get it for $1 probably somewhere.
Yeah.
But, like, these records, I'm probably going to spend $11 or $12 to get it on Discogs because at least somebody has it located and graded and specifically able to send to me without me having to just get lost forever. Because it's a bummer. Like, there's a lot of stuff I want that is probably so common that when people buy it, they literally don't put it in the normal bins. They just put it into the bargain bins and send it away.
Yeah.
And it's like...
Dance Party or Mac and Cheese, getting my Mac on.
Yeah. Or, Easy Mac.
Easy Mac.
But my Mackin' ain't easy or whatever. Like,
we have this one vinyl that Rob literally just keeps because
not
it's
even
so
a record.
dumb.
It's just a jacket.
Oh, it's just a sleeve?
It's a sleeve that somebody used as packaging material.
Oh, that's right. But we've held on to it because, it's this kid,
this white rapper named Easy Mac, and it says, like, and I think, like, the name of the record is, like, oh God, it's like I think it's literally just ... but my Mackin' ain't easy.
Yeah, I think that's the name of the record.
And it's hilarious. I literally pull it out as a joke.
Have you looked up the music on, like, YouTube?
I'm afraid.
Yeah. Well, Easy Mac, if you're listening, you have one fan in the Seattle area.
Yeah, at least I haven't even heard your music, and I'm a fan
of your artwork.
Yeah, I'm a fan of your limited vinyl pressing that you've made at one point.
I love it. Oh my God! Speaking of art, if you're watching this on TikTok or YouTube, you might notice I have some new art permanently affixed to my body. Yeah. I got some tattoos this week from my friend Taylor in Ballard, and I'm so happy. They're ones I've wanted for a while. Speaking of Lego, on my wrist I got 2 little Lego hands holding each other. Can you kind of see it? Yeah. Zoom in. But I've wanted a Lego tattoo for a while, but I didn't want just like a brick. I didn't want a minifigure. I didn't want a pile of bricks. Like I'd been searching literally Lego tattoos on Google and just looking for something that I was like, what would be cute? What would I want? And then I saw someone had like a wedding cake topper of 2 minifigs holding hands. And it wasn't even like art or anything. It was the actual minifig toppers. And they were holding hands, and I like zoomed in on the hands, and I was like, that's a good idea. And so I cropped it and sent it to Taylor, and she drew it up real fast. And then I Googled, I have not found anyone else with this tattoo. So I think, I'm pretty original. Just kidding. So yeah, I got 2 Lego hands holding each other. And then on the top, I got a bag of groceries, because if there's one thing about me, I love a grocery store. It was time. So I got I think it's called American Traditional Art Style. Just kind of like an old-timey sailor tattoo. But instead of a lady with big jugs, it's a bag of groceries. And this is Taylor's Flash, which, if you're not familiar with tattoos, Flash is just like pre-made artwork that they have that you can just
clip
get.
art.
Yeah. So this was on Taylor's Flash wall, and I was like, I definitely need that. And her Flash was colored in, and I thought about it for a minute. But first of all, the most painful part of a tattoo is the color.
It's the fill.
Yeah. And I was like, I don't think I want to go that deep. But also, this arm so far is all just black lines. And so I was like, I think I want to keep it symmetrical. Uniform. That's the word. I want to keep it uniform. And so I just got a black line work bag of groceries. Of groceries. Yeah. And I just love it so much. I can't wait for like my hair to grow back and just see what it's going to be like on my arm. But it's very fun. And then on my right arm, I got my favorite quote from Ariana Grande, which I believe is the funniest sentence anyone's ever said,
it's
ever.
So good.
And we say it all the time, and I think about it all the time. And also, I tell people this all the time. Ariana Grande is my favorite comedian on the planet. She's so funny.
She's just naturally funny.
She's naturally a funny person. I also happen to love her music. So I knew I wanted an Ariana Grande tattoo for a while.
Well, also, I will say, I think it's because right now she's at a place where like she has no stakes in the game. She can just be funny and kind of whatever.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing. It's like she's doing fine.
I'm
So she's
glad
like, just
that,
do whatever.
Because she's so good on SNL and always has been. But then she did that stuff with Pete. They were like engaged, right? They never fully got married.
Yeah.
And then they broke up, and obviously Pete kept working there. So like she wasn't going to come back while Pete was there.
Bummed me out.
Yeah, it was so sad. So I'm glad that that's all like way in the past, and she's back to doing SNL. But so from the Scream Queens, can I say it? Scream Queen astrophysicist, Scream Queens press tour. She was doing an interview with Little Miss Sunshine.
Breslin.
Yes. And Abigail Breslin just did this word salad of description of a scene.
It's like when they're like, yeah, and then like that.
Yeah. And Ariana's just sitting next to her, like staring at her, kind of giggling. And then she goes, I want to see what you just said written on paper.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because it's such a good joke comeback to be like, what did you just say?
Yeah, like you do know that like of all those words you accomplished nothing. Right?
Yeah,
like that was nothing.
And it's so funny, and it's such an old clip, and we watch it all the time and send it to each other and talk about it all the time. She literally
just like it's like a double triple take kind of her just like trying to process, and then I just want to see what you said written down on paper.
And so it kind of just hit me one day. I was like, that's the Ariana Grande tattoo, because that's another one. I was like, do I get a lyric? Do I get an album title? Do I get a picture of her? Like, what do I want? And then it just hit me. I was like, oh, I have to get that quote because it's so funny and it just makes me laugh. And I think it's just genius.
It's like the other Ariana Grande thing that we always quote, or at least I always do, is her as Maria from The Sound of Music. Just, wow.
Why are you coming for me?
It's how you know I'm not playing.
Yeah. Look it up. Ariana Grande Sound of Music SNL sketch. It's one of the funniest sketches of all time.
That one's actually hard to find.
With A.D. Bryant. Yeah. It's only like bootlegged on... where they like speed it up and reverse it on YouTube.
Yeah, I think it's probably because of the use of how do you solve a problem like Maria.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, oh man, and like Cecily Strong is so good in it too. Like,
it's so funny.
Yeah, it's a good one.
But yeah, love you, Ariana. So happy you're with us.
Well, and it's so funny
because she watches this every week.
Yes. Well, it's funny because like all the tattoo stuff he's been doing has like been making me kind of still consider like, do I need to get my second one? And I have so many ideas, but haven't really bitten the bullet on any of them. And it's like, it's been 15 years since I got my first tattoo. I got my first tattoo at 27, and
ages ago.
15 years. I've just been sort of like, well, maybe.
Yeah. Which did you just say your tattoo is a Space Invader on your back?
Yeah. Oh, I do. I have a Space Invader on my back. That was just sort of more, like less of a specific about that game, but it was kind of a nod to the street artist Invader, who kind of gets a point every time he places an invader somewhere.
Yeah.
And also like just a nod to general digital culture and pixel art.
Do you want to talk about your possible tattoos?
Nah.
Okay.
Not yet, not unless they're actually done.
But
also I have it on my back, so that way it was like a stable place on my body where it wouldn't get crazy. And also, I don't see it every day.
It's easily hideable.
I forget about it, and so every time I see it, I'm like, ooh, like, you know, it's kind of those little surprises. And like if on like the never times I wear a tank top, it just pokes out just a little bit. So it's kind of a fun little, you know, hide and seek.
On almost all of your American Apparel shirts now, because they're all so thin, they have worn down to nothing. Yeah. They're practically clear. So you can see it when you wear your American Apparel shirts. But you know what? They're still holding up. That's quality.
I love those shirts so much. Like, please, can someone else? If
it's back.
By the way, I don't know if anyone else makes the tri-blend baseball tee.
I don't think they do all of their blends.
But like, yeah, if anyone knows about a place that makes the tri-blend baseball tee that is basically a dupe for American Apparel, let me know. Yeah, because all of mine are getting real thin.
It's hard to find a good, just classic baseball tee that this little guy likes.
Well, and like, you know, and so many of them are made of that sort of like just really rough cotton, because like they're literally meant to be worn, duty, you know, on a baseball diamond, and like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, you want thin and comfort.
Yeah, I want something soft.
Which that's the dream for all of us. Right? I did have like a minor reaction this morning. So when you get a tattoo nowadays, they put on this like second skin film that you leave on for 3 days usually, and it just lets the ink sit in and it keeps out infection and all that stuff. Well, this morning after I walked Ruby, and then I was doing some stuff in the kitchen, I started to get like a little sweaty, and I have really reactive skin. I'm sometimes occasionally allergic to my own sweat. It's the weirdest thing, but like I'll get really sweaty and then all of a sudden I'll just develop a rash from my sweat. But anyway, underneath the stickers, they just started turning really pink and red and getting really itchy, like comically itchy. And I was like, oh shit. And I did scratch them hoping it would go away, and it just kind of made it worse. So I was like, I got to jump in the shower, because you're supposed to take them off in the shower. I was like, I got to jump in the shower, take a shower real fast, because I got to get these stickers off my body. But the inflammation has kind of gone down. The Ariana one is still pretty red, but these ones, the bumps and the redness and stuff has gone away. But for a second, I was like, oh God, am I going to lose my arms?
Well, and I feel bad because like...
And then I could put Lego hands in the stumps.
Which I feel bad because like I had to warn Todd when he came back, like just as a reminder of like, hey, I want to be supportive here, but also I kind of can't look at fresh tattoos. Like
I've been wearing long sleeves.
Yeah, it's one of the past 3 days. But the problem is also then I made the mistake and literally grabbed his forearm just like, as like a thing I do, and I was like, oh, and he was like, and I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like because
then he grabbed me again, and I was like, stop.
It's so easy to forget. But like. It's funny because I didn't realize that like fresh tattoos, they're just one of those things that gives me a minor ick. It's kind of like seeing a wiggling tooth. Yeah. It's just a thing that I kind of am surprised I can't handle as much as I thought I would. Like, so I'd make a terrible dermatologist. Do not ask for a consult from me.
Not at all. Could not do it.
But yeah, because it's funny. Although I will say second skin, today's problem aside, is still better than. Like I remember seeing people getting tattoos in the 90s where it's like they take off the saran wrap then they would keep covering it in like Vaseline, and so they just had shiny, gross, raw skin.
It is such a better technology.
And it weirded me out so much. It's one of those things where like you could be my favorite person, but like all of a sudden you have this odd aura coming off you that I just can't be around you until it's gone.
Well, back in the day, and I'm sure you got it with yours, they would use that plastic, almost like maxi pad stuff they put under steaks.
Yeah.
And they would put that down to absorb like blood and
like gauze.
Gums. Yeah. And then they would wrap it in saran wrap. And it was and like people still do that. Like you can't get the second skin stuff everywhere. Like not every artist does this, but pretty much most of them do now.
Because because my tattoo was so classic in its healing.
Yeah. But yeah, I did not have this reaction to like any of the other times I've used the second skin. So I think it was just my skin being weird. Also, you know, I'm on a new medication. Could be that. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, also seriously, like I feel like,
and now it's gone.
I feel like your hair is growing back faster than they normally do. So I feel like it could also be just like freshly shorn irritation.
Well, that's the other thing. Like, not to get too detailed, but she didn't shave it with a razor. She just did clippers. Like I did clippers. So, yeah, the part, like there are some parts that she did shave with a razor because I wasn't prepared, but like over here, but yeah, for the most part, I just used clippers before I went and prepped.
Oh, I've heard that you should always have the tattoo artist do it for you.
Why is that?
I don't know. Like just for sanitation, and I guess just make sure that it's to the way in which they're used to doing it. Yeah. But also, I mean, like literally, I was told, like when I did mine, like I was 27. My back was not especially hairy, but I had a few crazy hairs, I guess, and like they my artist shaved me, and then he literally even said, he's like, dude, he's like, when he was doing the outline, he was like, I wish that you could feel this. He's like, it literally is like hitting a rock in a road. He's like, I'm going across your back and all of a sudden it'll just kick the needle. He's like, because I'm hitting hair follicles, like you have some serious stuff here in your back that like I'm fighting through. And I had no idea. But yeah, it was a thing of,
Yeah,
like I just read recently on
it's like your body hair is just trying to escape your body. It's very aggressive.
Yeah. That's why I had no idea. Like he was like, dude, he's like, it is kicking.
When I got the Lady Gaga tattoo, she, uses just like a disposable Bic razor, and it just took so long because it kept getting clogged with hair. So I tried to like pre-treat it by using clippers, and she was like, yeah, that's short enough. That's fine.
Oh, okay.
So she didn't have to.
Because I've always heard that like, it always seems like the Bics are super ineffective, but it seems like that's always kind of the razor of choice for tattoo artists anyway.
Yeah. Just a good old disposable dollar store.
Just the simplicity is key.
Yeah, but
Occam's razor, the simplest explanations.
The simplest tattoo prep is the
correct
result.
One. I don't know. Whatever.
Sure. All right. Well, I think that's a great time to move on to our final segment, which is what's your order? What's your order? Where we take this little tin box.
We're going to have to refill it soon.
I know. I actually didn't check it. I'm pretty sure there's still stuff in here. There's still stuff in here.
Oh my God, you're going to have to like Google like team building questions.
What's your favorite country in Europe? I'm going to have to be so specific.
If you could be a tree, what kind of tree would you be?
We're running out of things. But yeah, this segment was titled because we used to have America's favorite fast food restaurants in here, and we would pick one out and say what our order is. But we went through those years ago when God was a child.
I don't want to say we're into the dredges, but we're into weird questions that are
now
not
it's
food
just
applicable.
Favorite things. Yeah. Anyway, let's pick out today's What's Your Order, Rob. By all means, are there more in there? Okay.
There's one more.
Oh, I meant to Julia Roberts clamshell you, but there we go. All right, and today's What's Your Order topic is
favorite Disneyland ride.
Oh, this is fun.
That is cool.
I remember when I put that in there.
Oh man,
I've been really missing Disneyland too. Like, for those that don't know, I used to be a tour guide there, not for Disney. I was a independent contractor for a couple years, and it was so fun. It was the hardest job I've ever had in my life because it was physically draining on my body. And it was before they had fast passes on phones, so you had to get fast
necessary.
passes. Yeah, I was a fast pass getter and like a line. I don't know. Negotiator.
You helped to just sort of
we had a very specific plot to hit every ride in Disneyland, and so people hired us to do that.
Yeah, and you use the tools available to you to the best of your ability in order to sort of, I guess, lubricate visits.
Because people just don't want to think. So I was a human map. I helped people get reservations for restaurants, and then we did our like predetermined ride schedule of the park every day, and it was like we had it down to a science. And then they changed everything, and now it's all on phones. And I don't know. There are people that still do it, obviously, but I don't think I could ever do it again. The system is too confusing.
Yeah.
But I love Disneyland. It's like a big, and I've really been missing it lately because we haven't been since 2019.
Well, and I feel very lucky that, like, I know that you grew up going to Disney World, which I have actually never been to.
And I haven't been since 1994.
But
so.
like, that beats my never.
Yeah.
But like, I've never been to World, but like, I remember like the first time you went to Disneyland, like I was there for his first visit, and he went with me and my family, and I think you even kind of went in being like a little bit of like, yeah, I'm excited to be here, but also like I've been to Disney World, like whatever. Yeah. And then, but it was funny, like the magic of Disneyland is powerful.
It hit me so hard.
It was funny because like that year, actually, I got to see two people do their first visit to Disneyland within like 1 year, like two adults, and it was kind of really incredible to see both of them had exactly the same reaction, more or less.
It was so. Like I cried multiple times. Like literally, it was magical. It was one of my favorite memories of all time.
Yeah, that was really cool.
And yeah, I love Disneyland. I consider myself a Disney adult, even though like we don't buy the merch, we don't have Disney toys in our house. Like we don't go all the time. Obviously, we haven't been since 2019.
We like Disney. We're not weird.
Yeah, we like Disney, but we're not weird. It's a fun time. It's a good hang, and it's really nostalgic. And I don't know, even when like bad people show up, it doesn't make you uncomfortable that much, like everybody's just having a good time in Disneyland.
Yeah.
And, we like to kind of attack it military style, where we like to plot things out. Getting that tour guide job really helped. But I like to plot. I like to plan. That's just how I live my life in general.
Well, and growing up as a Southern California kid, pre-park hopper, pre-fast pass, all that kind of stuff, like we learned, like me and my older sister and my stepbrother, who is 4 years older than her. So it was like it's me, my sister's 4 years older, and my stepbrother was 8, and so 8 years older. So like we all had like a plan because he was a teenager and kind of rippled downward, and like pre-cell phones, all that kind of stuff. And like we literally would get there at rope drop. We would make plans, so we were like either eating in line or like skipping meals, going on rides during shows. Like we had a plan, and it was one of those things like you get there and you stay the entire day until it is closed.
Yeah.
But like it was all about optimizing the day, and it's so funny like being an adult, being able to like do other things and like actually enjoy your time. But it's because I was like king strategist going to Disneyland, where Disneyland is, it's a military operation. This is not supposed to be fun for anybody. We got rides to go on.
Yeah. Well, and that was the best part about working there is like the tour I did was usually 6 to 7 hours, and we had to start at park opening. So I would always get off work at like 2 in the afternoon, 3 in the afternoon.
Man, your mornings were early though.
I got up at 4:30 or 5 a.m. But my tours would be over, and then I had a season pass, so then I would always just go to my favorite ride and ride it every day before I came home by myself. Like, I'm just going to go ride. So my favorite ride is now called Soarin' Over the World, but it used to be Soarin' Over California. And it's so funny because that ride was also called Soarin' Over California at Disney World, which I thought like theirs would just have been Florida, but the ride was Soarin' Over California there too, which I always thought was funny. But yeah, that is my favorite. That is my favorite ride. And I love the update, the Soarin' Over the World, when they switched from analog to digital and they made it high def. And now it's just like Mount Everest, Africa, Hawaii, Fiji. Like it's everywhere. And it's so relaxing and beautiful and comforting and escapist. And the soundtrack, they pump in smells. It's a 4D experience.
It's like I miss the flying over or soaring over California specifically,
which they bring back from time to time.
I know, but like I mean, given it was California Adventure, and the whole idea was that like that park was kind of meant to be a little bit of a summary of the state.
Yeah,
like it was very fitting there. I also love that they have Patrick Warburton as their spokesperson for the line and all that. But Patrick Warburton,
it's a really fun line. It's a beautiful building. Like I just love that's one of my favorite parts of the park. Like
there's a bathroom right outside.
Yeah, good. There's a good restaurant there too. A good place to get sodas and popcorn. There's always a character meet and greet by the airplane.
It's nearby the Goofy ride that beats the shit out of you.
Well, it's across the park from it, but
is it? I thought it was nearby.
No, they're like diagonal to each other, very far.
I feel like they're right next to each other, but I guess
No, you've got to walk all the way around the river rafting ride, and then you got to walk past Ariel.
I guess it's the trauma from the Goofy ride that kind of scrambled my brain a little bit.
Which that is definitely a scrambler. But yeah, so Soarin' Over the World, that's my favorite ride. And I could ride it forever. And like I said, back in the day when I worked there, I would ride it every day before I went home because it's just magical.
Well, it's funny because, I don't know at this point. Like, that's a hard one. I think actually probably my favorite ride there, I would actually have to say is, I think, Indiana Jones and the Temple of the Forbidden Eye.
All right. Yeah, I love that one too. And we do ride it often.
I think that's actually probably my favorite just because of like the whole experience. Like, but when that ride opened, let me take you back. Like, it's because now you do like the line in the outside area a little bit that kind of wraps around. And then like you do a walk through the caves. Yeah. Like you don't stand in the caves. You walk until you get to the part where you stand again. And it's funny because like when that first opened, it was a conga line nonstop
all the way back through the caves.
You were in line so long that AT&T, who sponsored the ride when it opened, gave you calling card things.
It was Singular, wasn't it?
No, it was AT&T.
Okay.
It was pre-cell phones. This is about long distance.
Oh, yes.
And so they handed out cards that were advertising, I guess, 1-800-CALL-ATT on the back, but on the other side, it was a decoder for all of the various writing on the walls. So you had shit to do while you were waiting in line.
Yeah.
It's like the line was an experience. Like, there were various things where you pulled on ropes, things lit up or talked. Like a lot
Thunder would clap.
A lot of the ride was, or the line was very animated. And, and then like, and that ride is just technically incredible. Like just how simple it is.
The technology involved in that ride.
It is so cool. Because if you look, the ride's just a simple dark ride. The platform is very non-turbulent, but it's all just hydraulics. And it's very, very smart.
Breaks down quite frequently.
Oh, so much. And like ton of really great projection work, air propellant. Like they just do really smart things.
Yeah.
And even just using backwards rolling very effectively.
It's a scrambler as well. It will scramble you.
But it is a fantastic ride. And it's so well done. And also, I just, what I want to see is I want to see it with the lights on because it has broken down to the point where I've had to walk backward.
Were we not together when I did that?
I had to walk backward out of it, but they didn't turn all the lights on.
But were we not together when that? Because
I don't think so.
I think I was definitely with like Brooke and Tom. But I've been on it one time when it broke down fully to where we had to be evacuated, and they turned the lights on and we had to walk backwards. And it's funny. It's one of those rides. If you ride it and you look behind you, you'll see all the like smoke and mirrors because everything's kind of hidden behind a boulder or something. But just barely. Like they're like, you can't see this if you're facing forward, but if you turn back at all, you'll see all the servers, you'll see all the lights, all the emergency brakes, everything. It's like just right there.
I remember walking past a server stack with all the green lights flashing, and I was like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah. The floor is very oily.
But it's funny because, I feel like, it's weird. I was having a hard time deciding because like there's a ton of honorable mentions, and
seriously,
none of them are the coasters for me, which is funny because like I enjoy the coasters, but none of them are really that great for me. But like I haven't been on, obviously we haven't been on the new Splash Mountain since it's been updated.
Tiana.
I was a huge Splash Mountain fan just because I like water rides.
I am gonna miss the old animatronics and music and stuff, but I'm excited to see Tiana.
Yeah, I'm excited about the rebrand. I love a log flume.
Yeah.
Period. And then
well, that was our firework ride.
It was
for a long time because hot tip, if you're going to Disneyland, especially in the summer when it's really hot, during the fireworks show is when a lot of the popular rides are fairly empty because everybody's watching fireworks. Yeah. So
and also if you time it right, go on a ride that has a high vantage point and you actually get a really great view because I've seen fireworks from both the drop of Splash Mountain and the open air photo area of Tower of Terror. Now,
oh yeah, we've done that together.
Guardians of the Galaxy,
and Matterhorn,
and like Matterhorn during fireworks is so cool. Which now I think they shut that down usually, don't they?
Maybe, but one time we rode the Matterhorn while the fireworks were happening, and if you've ridden Matterhorn, it's like inside, outside, inside, outside. And every time we would hit one of the outside parts, a firework would go off. It felt like we were in a movie.
It was
like
really
it felt
cool.
Fake.
Yeah, and it would light up everything. And like the fireworks usually happen over Fantasyland, which is why I think they shut the Matterhorn down.
Well, they closed Fantasy. Yeah, everything. The whole castle and everything is closed during fireworks.
Yeah. But no, it's funny because honorable mentions were all going to be like basically, Tower of Terror. I loved that ride. I still like the motion of Guardians of the Galaxy. It's just more fun instead of spooky.
Yeah.
Now, and then, Splash Mountain, of course. And then when it comes to dark rides, Peter Pan is just magic.
Peter Pan really is special.
I've loved that one since I was a kid. Like, literally, that is one of my first memories of Disneyland ever.
Mm-hmm.
The teacups can rot in hell.
I think I've only ridden them like once.
What was the other dark ride I absolutely love is the Alice in Wonderland Caterpillar dark ride.
I was gonna say Peter Pan, Alice, and Mr. Toad. Like, if you just want a classic nostalgia Disney feel, you could just go and ride those 3 rides, and like that, you feel like, I can't describe it, but it feels like it's like 1986 and everything is right with the world in your world. You know, like, not obviously the world wasn't great in 1986, but it feels so nostalgic and good.
And it's interesting. It's interesting because like they're also really great presentations of like 3 different types of dark ride. If you look at it, like, one's suspended, one's a more typical one, and one has like a thing where it's just using a ball, so everything kind of has a huge kind of turn radius to it, because that's the Caterpillar one, of course. But like even Mr. Toad, which is a straightforward one, adds the idea of like bumps and textures to the ride and temperature play, which is really cool.
When Mr. Toad goes to hell, which, classic children's ride theme.
It is a good morality tale, frankly. He drinks and drives, gets sent to jail. When he decides to run from the law, he dies.
He goes to hell.
And he goes to hell. If you believe in that, that's...
but when when the part of the ride hits hell, it's very hot.
And humid.
And it's funny.
Yeah, like the first time I went on it, I was a teenager. I had never been on that ride until I was a teen. And it was hilarious because all my friends were like, we're going to go to hell. And I was like, excuse me?
Yeah.
And then it happened. I was like, that was surprising.
Yeah. The Peter Pan is definitely my number 2 most favorite ride. And then Haunted Mansion and Pirates. That rounds out the top 4.
I love Haunted Mansion.
And I don't mind the Nightmare Before Christmas edition either.
I was going to say, I like it, but I think the biggest issue is just that usually whenever we go, it's always holiday.
Yeah.
And that's a bummer just because, I love the original, and all the updates they've done to it have been really cool.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, so I almost wish that, I wish there was a way for them to just sort of like flip a switch.
Yeah.
Where like every 20 minutes it just swaps.
Yeah.
That'd be so
I
cool.
do believe, fingers crossed, the plan is now that we will be there in July. So hopefully it happens.
We shall see.
We shall see. Who knows what's going to happen in this country and in this world in the next 5 months. But hopefully in July we will be at Disneyland. By golly.
And I will be staring into the forbidden eye.
Yeah, as hard as humanly possible.
Seriously, take me away.
Gonna gorge myself on churros and corn dogs, and we're gonna ride all the rides. All right, well, yeah. Thanks everybody for listening. I hope you guys had a good time. Let us know what your favorite rides at Disneyland are, and if you're going to Disneyland anytime soon, and if we've missed anything that we should have talked about at Disneyland.
Right, lots changed, and I'm not necessarily up on all of it.
Yeah, let us know if there's any hot goss about Disneyland that we should know about. But your homework for this week is to what should their homework be? Go to Costco. Just go to Costco and revel in its glory.
Get a pizza.
Yeah, get a pizza and maybe a hot dog. And go to Costco, get a membership. If you've been thinking about it, just get that membership. And also buy a Yeti. If you like cups, get rid of all your other cups and just buy Yetis. They're my favorite cup brand anyway, so that and Hydro Flask. But yeah, buy a Yeti and go to Costco. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching and listening. I hope you guys are having a great day out there, and we'll see you on the next one. We love you. Goodbye.